Hi, this is Cynthia Ortiz. These are the Charles Perry Stalker podcasts. It is the 14th of March, 2023, and we're still talking about stalking, peeping, hacking, harassment, coercion. Mr. Perry is putting unbearable pressure on me to shut me up and make me lie, which means I'm telling the truth right now, or he wouldn't do that. So, real quick, I'm going to do the disclaimer and recap a little bit to show Mr. Perry's history of filing false police reports and committing perjury and deceptions in court. Lots of them. Remember, I've sued him 3 times. The burden of proof is on me, and he makes sure I'm not in the courtroom 3 times. I'm one person with not one legal law school. He's got 5 attorneys seasoned. 5 attorneys couldn't handle one girl in court of law, just the regular, normal, legal way. Against a woman who has not one day, no law school at all. And there's no harm in letting me in court to show evidence I don't have. Mr. Perry, people have speculated on that, so I'm actually quoting somebody else. If I speak in the third person, I'm quoting somebody else. So he acts like nobody else suspects a thing, but I'm quoting somebody else. Mr. Perry, 5 attorneys can't handle one chick with no law school, 5 seasoned attorneys, to where they can't even go into a court of law and have a fair hearing where all parties are present. And what's the harm in letting her go into court to show evidence she doesn't have? She does have evidence, and she can argue effectively and intelligently, or he wouldn't keep her out. There's been court case after court case after court case that I filed the lawsuit. Burden of proof is on me, and they take the Judge Cummings duck hunting. Whole thing gets dismissed. No hearing that I'm present. I'm not there to show my evidence. I don't get to put witnesses on the stand. I don't get to question Mr. Perry on the stand. And it's just dismissed 3 times. I've tried to get protective orders or injunctive orders against him 11 times. So, what prompted that is Mr. Perry is a stalker. He's a delusional, whack job, crazy, nutbag stalker. Thank God I have police from somewhere else that have been investigating him for trafficking and exploiting women and children on the dark web. Our witness says he puts cameras in women's homes when they're not there. He begins to broadcast watch time over the dark web and charges watch time using our bodies and our kids' children, child pornography. He uses our bodies for entertainment and profit. So he's a sadist. Then he gets the women fired, makes sure they can't find another job. Then they lose the home. Then he has the ex take the kids away. Now they're easier to sell. They're easier to traffic. That's illegal. It comes with a life sentence. Then he sells them. He has sold me to some dude in Houston that's a realtor. So I'm getting, on a daily basis, questions as which police are investigating me and who are my leaks. He never gets the answer to that. And he always keeps asking, and I've told him over and over and over, I fucking hate your guts, you creepy, crawly piece of shit monster. There's not going to be any kind of nothing. I'm not going to help you. We all want you gone. Everybody's sick of this and sick of you. You have dragged on this thing on and on and on and demanded lies and tried to starve me until I lie and tried to deprive me of food and shelter till I lie and put unbearable pressure on me and threatened me with false arrest and murder and you name it, he's threatened me with it. You're gonna lie. You're gonna do what we say. No, I'm not. You're not. You're asking me who your leaks are and who they're leaking to. So I don't think so. I think it's different when you do this shit to me. And you're delusional. So he's, everybody starts speculating in who the fuck does shit like that. So our shrink says, I think he's got like Alzheimer's or something. Because who asks the same questions every day, not knowing they're not going to get an answer? And just harasses. It's inappropriate for Mr. Perry to contact me at all, much less ask those questions. And by the way, Mr. Perry, ask O.J. Simpson what it's like for the whole courtroom to hear him in the commission of his crime. Ask him, call him and ask him, what was that like? Because you're about to our guys are about to put you in jail, And then everybody's going to have to hear you talk to your hitman about, and ask you, what do I do if she won't take the shot? And you tell him you make sure she takes the shot. And hear all the shit you say. Introducing my son as your stepson. Telling people I'm your concubine and I'm your wife and I'm your fiance and all the weirdo shit you said. You're going to have to sit through court. And everybody's going to have to sit there and listen to the bullshit you've said for a decade that I've had to listen to. Remember, I found out Mike was drugged before anybody else said it. I found out that he had, nobody ever brought the question into court as to how did he get Narcan? How did he get opioids in him? Who gave him that? How'd they get there? Nothing was found in his stuff or Lucky's. How did I know Gene Mitchell was going to change his story from telling the media, this interview with police exonerates my client, which I would agree with. He completely changed that to my client with his magic ass while he was unconscious and dying of opioid overdose with his butt caused internal decapitation, strangulation, and blunt force trauma to the head. It was an accident. He fell on him. And that argument was bullshit. It's not even possible, much less plausible. How did I know that he was going to do that before he did it? Because I texted him and said, what you're about to do is make an argument that's it's not possible, much less plausible. Here's what happened. Look at the evidence. I'm there. I didn't see it. But I'm looking at the evidence. Mr. Mitchell, this is your client. You have a fiduciary obligation to give him the best defense of your ability. So why are you changing your story? Who called you? Okay, Perry, you're under investigation. It's a need to know. It's inappropriate for you to contact me at all. Much less ask me who's leaking and who are they leaking to. And I've already told you over and 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 over. I'm not told who your leaks are, and I wouldn't help you if I was. We all want you gone. I came to Oklahoma to be with my family and not have to hear from you ever again. I don't care what you think. I don't care what you want. I don't care that you need a lie. You want to talk. You need to talk. I don't need to talk. I said fuck off and get away from me. Leave me alone. I've said it for a decade. You are making me feel raped. You are not entitled to a lie. I know that your mommy humiliated you as a kid and you feel like you are. Guess what, princess? You're not. Grow up. Grow a pair. You're like 80 now. Get over the mommy thing. You're a grown-ass man. I guess. I don't know what you are. You don't have women crawling all over you doing what you're doing. We're all going down to the courthouse trying to get a protective order against you. So if you wanted women to like you, you're doing it wrong. 11 times I've tried to get a protective order. So I don't know what the hell it is you think you're going to have somebody call in if I go back to work. Here's the thing, Mr. Perry. I have a legitimate reason to be at work. You don't. And yet your people are always there. Yep, always there. The first guy, if you have a guy threatening you with death and false arrest, if you're gonna like me, or I'm gonna kill you, or have false arrest you. Every day for months he did that, and I documented it like I am right now. Use allegedly. Nobody's been found guilty in a court of law just yet. Apply the but-for legal standard, the proximate cause legal standard. If it weren't for Mr. Perry doing this shit to me in Oklahoma, where I moved to get away from him and hang out with my family, we wouldn't do these to document it. You got to do that for court. These go into your criminal case, Mr. Perry. These podcasts, they go into your criminal case already. It shows my intent. That I intend not to be contacted by you, not to have a fucking thing to do with you. Nobody's bothering you. You're getting caught bothering me. I'm not in Texas. You're in Oklahoma. And I assert all constitutional rights, especially equal protection to the application of the law supposed to protect me from you. Look at these texts. You're getting texts like this. A false arrest and my murder isn't going to vindicate him from stalking. It's going to prove he is stalking. I just want this to be over without deception, death, and destruction. Oh, I can't promise that. This guy's told me right off the bat, I came in here to see you for Charles Perry. Why don't you like him? Well, because I can, do you have all night? He's a fucking creepster. He's a monster. He's cruel. He's creepy. I don't like him. Period. Now it's time for you to leave. How about I kill you instead? Let your life fade away. Let my life fade away? Are you shitting me with that? Putting stuff in my drinks, and I'm kind of asking him about it. Telling my ex-husband this, they're getting in my house. Look, did you give me arsenic? Yeah. I did. He says, yes. Over here. This is the one that says, I didn't come here to clean up. I'm not Wyatt Earp. If there's police corruption, I don't want to know about it. Yeah, they've shoved it down to my throat. So, Mickey James, I've been watching you behind the scenes. I didn't know this man. I didn't know him from Adam. He came into my work, where I have a legitimate reason to be. It might be worth the risk. See, he said it verbally. So I got back to him in a text. I needed him to say it where I could record it. Because I recorded Pinto offering me $5,000 to sleep with Charles. Just spend a few hours being creeped out by the guy and you'll be $5,000 richer. These guys are coming where I work. I'm not going to Texas. They're coming where I am in Oklahoma. Over and over. There's 5 of them. There was a lot more than that. There's 5 of them that I got them to either text something or I recorded them. Is it worth the risk if he murders me? Why am I having a conversation with a man I don't know about my murder at the hands of Mr. Perry, hiring somebody, a hitman? So, but I am. Why am I having a conversation with a man I don't know about sleeping with Mr. Perry and being creeped out by him for a couple hours for $5,000? See, why are these conversations even happening? I moved here to get away from all that. I went to great lengths to get away from this guy and have no conflict, no drama, and no problems. And so because all he does is go at a state where he does not live and cause one catastrophic loss after problem after drama, and everything's a thing and everything's an ordeal and it's constant. I got to drop everything I'm doing and address a problem that he's causing, an imposition and a burden. I don't want to hear from you, Charles. I don't want to hear from you, Charles. I don't want any conversation with you at all. I don't want a fucking thing to do with you. Nothing. You leave me alone. You get off your fat, lazy, perverted ass and go fucking work. And go be normal. And get off me, rapist. You're not wanted, you're not loved. You've been told on and told on and told on because your conduct is illegal. It's offensive. It's vulgar. It's obscene. It's sick. It's twisted. And everybody's tired of it. We can get information. You cannot. I've got names here, people. You don't have even one of mine. 10 years into this. 10 years into this. You're rejected and told on, and you got nothing else to show for the 10 years of your life but that. You're creeping me out. You're creeping me the fuck out. You're not hot. You're not sexy. You're told on. You're not loved. You're not wanted. You're caught, and you're told on. Every day for a decade. Can't you spot a pattern after a decade, sir? Golly. Okay, so our shrink is like, I think he's got Alzheimer's or something. Well, turns out he's got Huntington's disease. You know how he found out? Perry pissed everybody off, making me sleep in my car, taking my money, and contacting me when I've asked him to stop. That made everybody mad. All his leaks. So we find out he's got Huntington's disease. It causes paranoia, hallucinations, delusion. He imagines shit that's not there. Like John Hinckley Jr. watching TV pretending. And Rebecca Schaefer's killer watching TV pretending. It's embarrassing. And it also causes impaired cognitive reasoning. If you're asking me every day for years who's leaking, and I'm never going to tell you that. I'm not told that. But even if I was, there's no fucking way I would help you. No, we all want for you to be gone. I went to great lengths to not have any further contact with you. I moved twice and started all over again to have no fucking contact with you. So, what is your problem? Why, if I didn't answer it the last 5 years you asked every day, why would you think I'd answer you today? I mean, you're just not all there. So, we found out he's got Huntington's disease, and that's why he acts like that. It's, it should not be imposed on me. He's an imposition and a burden. So this guy that I don't know says this. It might be worth the risk of killing you to have the speculation of Gary Condit and Chandra Levy on Charles Perry. Can you imagine? Why is this conversation even happening? I mean, it's just unbelievable. I've been watching behind the scenes. Really? So you know me, but I don't know you. Yeah, I have that happen a lot. Just constant. I mean, there won't be charges here, he says. Why not? How much did Charles pay everybody? And I guess he told you he paid everybody? Is that why you're telling me he won't have charges in Oklahoma? I mean, yeah, that's what he just said to me. There won't be charges in Oklahoma, I'm sorry to tell you. Wow. Oh, and I'm telling him, okay, but there's going to be charges from somewhere else. My mission is to just have a life without Mr. Perry in it. See, right here. He never will. I'm talking to him about getting charged in Oklahoma. He says maybe he never will. I'm sorry to tell you, he's not going to be charged in Oklahoma. Anybody can read these. I'm telling everybody. I'm telling my ex-husband. Oh, that's to Mr. Powell. I'm telling Mr. Powell, too. I sent the U.S. attorney a letter. He's using law enforcement to harass me. They told me. You know how I know? They told me. Here's the McNamara email. It's dated October 29, 2015. He's going to arrange a false arrest. He's going to coerce me. That's what the whole email's about. And then something happened at work. David got weird. So I filed a police report on the 21st. You know why? The law in Oklahoma requires it. Because if somebody's threatening you with death and false arrest, you need a protective order. I had already tried. I had an attorney here. I forgot my police report. The judge says in number 2, I'm not going to give you the protective order you're requesting because you forgot your police report. You're not in compliance with the law. So they all knew that. I filed a police report on the 21st. I'm arrested on the 29th. A couple days later. Nobody collected my evidence. There was video surveillance at my work. There was all David's texts that have nothing to do with politics at all. It's all about stalking. And no blood test to rule out or confirm arsenic. Nothing. So how is a police report false or true if there's never even the proper collection of the evidence? I didn't even get a call back until the 15th. So I'm already sitting in jail on an arrest that was threatened, and I addressed it here. Just like I'm doing these podcasts, addressing threats. And stalking, which is a felony. Then they come to me and go, he wants you to lie. I'm like, fuck that. No, I lost my house. My mugshot's all over the place. I didn't break the law. I was in compliance with the law. Nobody got my evidence. No, they don't know what happened. Well, they want you to lie. Okay, well, no. How about I'll see you in court? How about that? Oh, God. Now we got to make her look crazy. So let's make her see a shrink. So they had me evaluated twice. Both times by Texas Tech. Shrinks. Not from 2 different places. Both from Texas Tech. Now, who the fuck does that? Both of them said, and it was for competence to stand trial. Both of them come back and, no, she's plenty competent. You know, I'm in college now, criminal justice college. Do you know in criminal law I made an A? My grade point average is 3.6. If Mr. Perry hadn't jammed up my computer so I couldn't get assignments turned in, or ruined turned my life upside down so something was late. When you're homeless, all of a sudden, you know, somebody has you kicked out of your hotel, and you lose everything you have in a second. I didn't know that hotel money. When you lose everything, you think that's, oh shit, I got an essay due. That essay might be a little late. So, but for Mr. Perry, I'd have a 3.9. Does that sound like I'm competent to stand trial? All right. See, he thinks people can't put 2 and 2 together on their own. There it is. Did you give me arsenic? Yeah. If somebody texts you that and you're getting sick, don't you think you need a protective order? Yeah. Okay. Then when I'm in jail, well, here's what. It was all over the jail. We're going to send her home, harass the fuck out of her, do things like get her kicked out of her home and take her car away from her and make it where she can't pay her bills and bother her at work. And then when she tells on us, we'll say she's harassing us. Judge Kirkendall said, I need you to leave her alone for a few weeks so I can rule out entrapment and provocation. And, I got that in jail. I can't see that one very well. Look at this. Mr. Sullivan, get a handle on Mr. Perry. I would like him to leave me alone. Yeah, just crazy shit. And all the things that I said back in 2011, that happened in 15. This was in 11. Mr. Perry's pulling up behind my house, watching me in my backyard. Mr. Perry threatened to ruin my business. His staff did when I went to them. I didn't go to the media and hurt him. I went to him, the staff. Make him leave me alone. What the hell is this? What is he fucking doing? I'm telling my friends I have to move. Anything about there's no abortion name, there's no social issues, there's no fiscal issues, there's no political issues. So Mr. Perry is the one that filed the false police report, not me. He went into court and he knowingly lied. And then my bond condition said he is to leave me alone. After I said, yeah, no, I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to fuck the lie. I'm not lying. I'm not going to do it. And then, okay, I said, I'll stay quiet if, here's the one condition, here's the stipulation. He absolutely may never contact me again. So they put it in here that Mr. Perry may not contact me. He's the victim. And yet it says he can never contact me. And there's no way that's there if he didn't agree to that. So he again went into court and committed perjury and told Judge Darnell, I promised not to contact her. He admitted guilt and he agreed to stop. And his name is in here. He may not contact me. And yet, the whole time he had that plan, we're going to send her home and harass her and cause her catastrophic, profound loss on purpose. And then when she tells on us, we'll say she's harassing us. That was another lie. How many times are you going to lie in court, Mr. Perry? Gene Mitchell, you had Gene Mitchell, because Lucky and Mike were going to get your ass. And we know that. Motive for murder right there. You suborned perjury in his case. Then he's telling me we intimidated your witnesses into recanting. Recanting what? What witnesses, sir? Yeah, see, that's your thing. Because right now you're telling me I'm going to put you back in jail. I'm going to starve you, but you're going to lie for me. So if you do that to me, everything's threats and everything's bribes with you. Then who else are you doing it to? Yeah, who do you think you're fooling, sir? We didn't even know what to say to all that. There is so much here to dispute. Look at this. How'd you know Mike had to be begged to go to Pensacola? That means he was asked to go and he said no. You guys had planned his murder and Chief Miller's murder. They had just taken 6 days before a car vandalism complaint. My car's been hit like 5-6 times in 3 years. And now you're talking about my license plate. What license plate? What car? Huh? What license plate and what car? You took my car away. And I've told you where I work on purpose. That's bait. You want to go out there and bother me at work so I can take a picture of you and put it on, on Facebook or on the blog and give it to the media? Do it. I would love nothing more than that. Let's get one more guy to show that you've made one more unwanted contact with me in a place where you have no fucking business being. Because I said, fuck off and don't contact me again and leave me the fuck alone. Now, everybody knows where I work now. I've taken a break. I had some stuff I needed to do. There's no conflict there. There's no problem there. I said I have some stuff I need to do. I'm taking a couple of days off. And the guy that I work for said, okay, take your time. Now, you had some of my coworkers bully me. Calvin, your guy Calvin, Bald Fat Calvin did that. Bald Fat Calvin does do damage to whatever car it is I've been driving. We know that. We know a lot about Calvin. We know a lot about Calvin that would make him shit himself if he knew all that we knew. Because you're under investigation, as is everybody helping you. Yeah, ask Blankenship about that. Look at this. Where's the injuries on him that look like he was in a fight? We heard they went over Mike's case with a fine-tooth comb and read everything she read because they want to discredit her. But you know what what they found? What? Not a fucking mark on the guy. You can't beat someone back and forth. The medical examiner said he was hit back and forth so hard that the skull came off the rest of the body. That's what internal decapitation is. That would have been a right and a left and a right and a left and a hard. So hard that his head became detached from the rest of his body and the kidney died. It killed them dead. And now a whole family has no dad. Because he was going to arrest you and you didn't like that. So that's twice now you've obstructed justice. Twice you've given somebody something in their drink. You gave me arsenic. You gave Mike opioids. How did he get that never came out in his trial. How the fuck did opioids get in Mike Neely enough to cause him to be unconscious and in respiratory distress? He's not knocked out from being in a fight. He's knocked out from being overdosed with opioids and given Narcan, and he came to. And when people are given Narcan, they get combative when they come to. And he did. So the guy said she's right. How do you kill someone in that condition? It's physically impossible. It's also physically impossible to beat somebody till their head comes off their body and have no injuries. There was no fight between Michael Neely and Chief Miller. They were trying to help me. I can't let it go. First of all, I'm raised by 4 generations of police. I know what it's like to lay in your bed at night, unsure as to whether or not your dad is going to come home. I did it, and I was only 6. My dad stopped being a cop by the time I was age 7. So I'm a 6-year-old little girl laying in bed, wondering if my dad was coming home. My little sister was so much worse. She literally would get a fever. The second he'd come home, her fever would go away. She worried herself sick, literally. She was like 4. People are very aware. That's why it's called cop family. You get this shit. Other people don't understand what it's like to live like that every day. We do. So you're already empathetic to each other because, Mr. Perry, guys like you are a threat to our safety and our well-being and our families and our loved ones and our happiness and our right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. You're in the way because all you want to do is take and rape and rob and ruin, and you're very hated. We can get information and nobody will tell you shit. We have names of your people like Calvin, who's bald and fat, and Blankenship and Desiree and Lucius and Beverly and Kate and James and Ruben and Richard and Dickie and Andrew and Lawrence, and you have not one name of not one of our guys. And you've asked me every day for years, and every day I said the same thing. You give back what you took, and you get the fuck out of my life. And the guys will be in touch with you. The guys will be in touch. It's inappropriate for you to contact me at all, much less ask me for help. You are off your nut. Give back what you took, and you can get the fuck out. If nothing else, get the fuck out. Even if you don't give back what you took, what that would get you is our guys will go, Judge, he tried to make amends, and he tried to make it right, and he's already given back in what he took. So we'd ask for mercy. That's all they can do. They're going to charge you, you're going to go to jail, and then it's not going to matter anymore. It's just not going to matter anymore. You need the conversation. We don't, sir. We don't need it. We have people's names that work for you. We have what you just said before you actually do it. Are you going to call it in if I go to work tomorrow? Who are you going to call? Rogers County or Mays County? Who are you going to call? Or Tulsa? Or the state police? Which one are you going to call? Oh, God, here she goes. She's going to work. It's not a criminal act to go to work, sir. Is it? You know what is a criminal act? This right here. This man sitting in jail because you suborned perjury. Because you did that murder. This text that you sent is from you. It's your text. This right here says not one injury, a red swollen right hand. I said he's got in March 2020. He didn't do it. He was drugged. By the way, they didn't give him a test in time. Look at that. Look at the date on that. 2017. They want to use me as a test case before the Supreme Court and perpetrate a fraud on the highest court in the land. Because it was all over the jail in February, right when Justice Scalia died in West Texas, where we all were. And then William O'Ritchie questioned why wasn't protocol followed when he died as it would have been if he was in D.C. I mean, I'm sorry, but this is too many times, sir. Right here. Hansel and Gretel. Isn't that your code word for coaxing someone somewhere so you can do something horrible to them? That's murder in the first degree right there. That is evidence of murder in the first degree of a police officer. You asked Mike to go to Pensacola so you could kill him. When he didn't die, he did a false arrest just like he did to me. That's a pattern. We get it the second time you do it. First you use drugs. We don't die. We end up in jail. There's perjury in a courtroom again, twice. Right? Everything looks a little funny when you're around. And nobody will suspect a thing. The right hand is red and swollen because he's got an IV needle in it. That's probably the hand you hit with. And there's nothing on his hands that would indicate he hit somebody back and forth and back and forth. Right hand, left hand, right hand, left hand. So hard his head became detached from his body and he died. I know how to read evidence, and that's what I told his attorney. Mr. Mitchell, I'm reading the evidence, and what you're about to say doesn't fit the evidence. What in the fuck are you doing? You're an officer of the court, sir. You have a fiduciary obligation to vigorously defend your client. And you're going to go into court, and he's asking now, not during my deposition when it's relevant, and it would have made sense to ask me, how did you know my client was drugged before anybody else said it? In March, depositions weren't taken till May. They weren't put on the docket till June or July. How did you know he was drugged? And not tested in a timely manner so we could get what his blood composition was while he's unconscious and dying. We don't know. He was given Narcan. That alters the composition, does it not? So he suffered the degradation of his evidence as well. There's two of us now. That's a pattern. This is getting old because I've settled this before. Many, many, many times. Who is it you think you're fooling? Is Steve Conswheeler going for your bullshit? Is Chief Franklin going for your bullshit? Is that why you think you're fooling people? Or did you buy them? I mean, everyone wants to know, sir. I'm just going to say what everybody else is thinking. How much did you pay him to look the other way? You tell. Why am I having to get help from another police department? Not here. Why is that? Why am I getting recordings and quotes of you guys talking about getting my license plate? If she goes to work, call it in. Really? When is going to work illegal? Huh? Why is it you took my picture everywhere I went when I was door dashing? What businesses of yours would I do? You know who doesn't do that? Jason Moore. Didn't give a crap where I worked. Didn't give a crap what I'm doing. Because he's not stalking me. So why are you? You have mommy issues. You're like 80 now. Get the fuck over it already. See, my kid was in a fight. You can tell he was in a fight. Look at him. And yet, nothing on that guy. Who's supposedly, he's in jail right now. Ripped from his wife and son. I made a phone call about car vandalism, Calvin. 6 days later, that happened, Calvin. Are you implicated in that murder too? Are you the one that did it? Whoever did it felt some amount of shame because they put Lucky all tucked away in a corner where you couldn't hardly see him, between the wall and the bed, face up, and threw Mike on top of him face down. I don't want to see the faces of these two men I just murdered. I don't want to look at it as what I did as I leave the room. Is that what you're thinking, Calvin? Did you do that? Did Joe do that? Who did that? Did David do that? We know Charles didn't do it. He's too girled up. These other guys, though, did you guys do that beating? Charles will hire a hitman, but he's not going to do the dirty work himself. I mean, we know your psychological makeup, Mr. Perry. Look at this, 2019. He's going to take my car. He was recorded. Look at the last highlighted sentence. It's not legal, but I'll have her car towed and sold before she figures that out. I mean, oh my God. And you think nobody suspects anything? Arrest report, nothing but a red swollen right hand. Anybody can read that. This is public record, guys. Anybody can read it. Same as I did. I can't live with that. Do you understand that it bothers me? This was Lucky. He always wanted us to pull her over and give him information on our car. I got real crime to fight. I don't have time for that. He's wasting my time. Okay, Chief Franklin, Mr. Kunzweiler, with all due respect, people are asking, how much did you take to look the other way? I'm seeing what everybody else is thinking. Because he's not fooling everybody else. Why is he fooling you? I mean, why do police from somewhere else have to help me? This is Calvin right here. We can't get her kicked out of her apartment by taking all her money like we would normally do. So, let's try it on smoking. And then she did. She tried. This was on the 9th of February. This was on the 15th. And then we get Bald Fat Calvin's name. And then you did it, you get me kicked out of my hotel and take everything I own. Then we got Sanjay, Lucius, Geppetto. Whose money, Charles? I mean, how many times I got to repeat the same shit? Our guys will help you. But the stipulation is, get the fuck out of my life. I never hear from you again. You don't contact me and you don't contact my family. You don't contact anybody I know. If you want mercy, give back what you took. And then they'll go and say, well, he made amends. He paid back what he took. Otherwise, there's not going to be help. Nobody's going to help. It's about to be too fucking late. It won't matter anymore. You can deal with it in the court with the judge and sit there and have to listen to all the fucking recordings I have over the years. And ask OJ how well that worked out. I mean, this is what they gave me in jail. These are texts to Fabian the night David Robertson first came into my work, where I have a legitimate reason to be. You don't need to call anything in if you're just going to work. There's no crime. I'm going to work. Okay, so I'm telling Fabian he came in, and here's what we talked about you. Here's what he said. Look at the date on that, October 12th, 2015. Yep. So I'm telling him what David said. I get that puzzle. Look whose name is on that. There's nothing political discussed here, Mr. Powell. Not a fucking thing political anywhere. So Mr. Perry knowingly perpetrated a deception upon a court. He's done it many times. That's why they don't let me in court. Because he knows I'll call him out on that. Everybody knows that. How many cops have gone? She's actually really good at what she does. She can get people to tell the truth without them knowing. They just told her the truth. She can get the truth out of people. It takes, you got to have a special let me tell you something. To get people to say the stuff I've been able to get them to say, especially in the text, it takes, to get a policeman to say, officer, are you patrol or are you traffic? I'm patrol. Okay, explain the difference to me. It's not relevant here, but I just want to know. Well, patrol can respond to regular calls like domestic violence, like harassment. Yeah. And I just told you that's what this is. Okay, yeah, let me go get your ticket written. Wow, officer. Oh my God. That's a fail, big fat fail right there. 44% increase in domestic violence murders since 2020 in Oklahoma. That's why right there, sir. That's not called being a cop. I don't know what the hell you just did, but it's not policing. Police are called to relieve suffering caused by crime. Lawmen are called to relieve suffering caused by crime. How many times do I gotta say the same fucking thing? It is expected. We pay the roof over your head, the car in your driveway, the clothes on your back. It is expected. What is the deal with gender discrimination? Why are you after the victim and not the offender? How much did he pay you? I'm just going to say what everybody else is thinking. First, we heard it was $25 million. Everybody, Creek County, Sapulpa, Tulsa, put it into evidence. And Mr. Perry got mad because he didn't get his cover up, so he had it stolen back, and he's got the $25 million. After that, I don't know. But I'm saying what everybody else is thinking. I do that kind of a lot. So who can get me that in jail? Right up under your nose. It wasn't up to you, Charles. Was it? You're the little butt in here. The selfish little butt in. Always a wannabe, never the one wanted. Just a rejected fail. And you cause fear and sadness, and everybody's sick and tired of that. But Fabian brought me hope. You know, you don't have to be romantic interest for somebody to make you hope, do you? You can be friends, you can be, it doesn't matter. And whatever it is between me and Fabian doesn't concern you, Mr. Perry. You're a butt-in. You're a nosy body. When I work, I could not believe it today. These guys are playing all the recordings they got in or whatever live feeds they had today. What's she gonna do? She can't go back to Stillwater. Is she gonna go back out to that club in Inola? What's she gonna do? When's she gonna take her trash out? I'm like, oh my God, wow. Wow. None of this is your business. None of this is your business. Not any of it. And, as much as you're quoted, for you to think you have a choice when you're told to fuck the hell off and get the hell out of my life and do not ever contact me again, speaks to your delusion. Right, Calvin? Right, Lucius? Right, Sonjay? Right, Geppetto? Right, Blankenship? Right, Desiree? Right, Monique? Who's Monique, Charles? Who's the guy that works with you who has a nickname Muffin Man? See, when we know that, for you to think you have a choice when you're told, get the hell out of my life and don't fucking contact me again, it speaks to your delusion. And somebody called you oblivious. Mr. Perry is oblivious to reality. Completely oblivious to reality. You can tell she's right. He has no fucking idea what people say or what's happening because he's going at her still. And this is quite the pile. And what day will they pull the plug and you guys are in jail? And it won't matter if our guys want, it'll be too fucking late. So you've called all around. Is it El Paso Police? Is it NYPD? Is it LAPD? Asking me which PD it is. Right, Mr. Perry? And they won't call you back. They're not going to dignify you with a phone call. He said, leave her alone. Get the hell out of her life. And when that happens, I'll be in touch. But until then, you're fucked. I've never answered those questions, Mr. Perry, in all these years you ask me all day, every day. And never once have I answered you. So you can ask me again all day tomorrow. Same thing's going to happen. We'll get more stuff in to use against you in a court of law. We told you, you have the right to remain silent. Any stupid thing you say and do can and will be used against you in a court of law. You can't afford an attorney. They'll appoint the dumbest one they've got just for you. You're a cop killer. So, you want to continue to run your mouth? Make sure that you can do the OJ thing and sit in court and listen to that bullshit being played. And everybody has to listen to it, same as I've had to all these years. I'm sure you can live with your choices. Guys that can get me this said, we won't help you until you get the hell out of her life. Stop invading her privacy. Don't contact her again. And she's not to be broke anymore. Get your hands out of her wallet. Period. That's the stipulation. Take it or leave it. You've called all around. Nobody will call you back. They're not going to dignify you with that. Okay? You're wasting everybody's time. This is the, this is the damn stats. TPD. 44% increase in domestic violence. 44% increase in domestic violence murders of women because we got gender discrimination in this state. We don't know what equal protection is, do we, Mr. Consueler? There's some irritation with you. I just want you to know that. If you can't hear it in my voice, I know you guys listen to this because Mr. Perry goes around telling everybody he's a victim of a crime. She caught me bothering her. And that's a crime. Here's your tissue. Here's your tissue. I'm a victim of a crime because she caught me in my crime. In Oklahoma where she lived, and I don't. Cal, I mean, really? Do you really think people... do you really think people don't want to just slap the hell out of you for saying that? Because it's pathetic. I moved to Oklahoma to get away from you. You're sending guys like Mickey James and Terry Wagner and Pinto and David into my work. I don't know them. I'm going to have a legitimate reason, Mr. Perry, to be at work. Okay? You don't have any reason to contact me at all. You hack me. You cloned my phone. You're a peeping Tom. All of that's crime. Coercing me, trying to make me lie for you, selling me to Houston realtor guy. All of that's crime. You are not a victim, bitch. You're not a victim. So, equal protection, Mr. Consueler. I'm asserting it right here. Witness tampering and crap. Alright, this guy's, you can find all the texts from all the weirdos that Charles hired and sent to go to my work on this page right here. And, the Pinto one where he solicits prostitution on Mr. Perry's behalf. He came to my work where I am and had a legitimate reason to be. I didn't know this dude from Adam. Didn't know him. Never saw him before. Haven't seen him since. But he's offered me, look at that, I'm your caretaker. And I'm like, you're my fucking what? Caretaker? Okay, whack job. Look, just sleep with him. I'm like, ew, no, he gives me the creepy crawlies. Yeah, he'll pay you $5,000. That is solicitation of prostitution. Charles, you're not a victim. I don't know, you're pissing people off. Going around making that claim. Everybody's like, take the dress off, princess. Grow a pair and act like a man. You're picking the fight. You're picking the fight. You're provoking. You're antagonizing. You're stalking. You're in violation of the law. Leave me alone. The guys will call you. But not until you get the fuck out of my life. Get out of it. I don't want you in it. Nobody invited you to Oklahoma. I don't want to hear from you. You're not loved and wanted. You're told on. You're caught. See? This is a sting op right here. That's what that is. I was recording the guy. He asked me 3 times if I was wearing a wire. And I started laughing at him. Where would I wear a wire? I wasn't wearing a wire, but didn't mean I wasn't recording him. That's a sting op. Dumb son of a bitch. I've been working very hard to catch a bad guy. I like catching bad guys, actually, and I'm not a cop. But I'm something. So, and I'm pretty fucking good at what I do, I'll tell you that. Look at this. If people are going, I will give her this. She can get the truth out of people without them realizing that's what they did. You gonna let it go, Perry? Okay. This is my deposition for Mike Neely. Okay? This is also a sting op because what I was looking for was 2 questions. How did you know my client was drugged before anybody said it? Before it was on, we didn't even take depositions of first responders yet. How'd you know that? And how'd you know I was going to change my legal argument before I even made my legal argument? Didn't ask either one of those questions. Those are relevant to his client's case. You know what's not relevant? I got a bunch of emails. I don't have time to read them. I'm like, well, bullshit. I sent you 5. Then I said, I don't want to bog your email down, and I got a lot of evidence for your client that's relevant, maybe. I'll let you decide that. So I'm going to set up a Dropbox. If you got any more than 5, it's not from me. That's not relevant to Mike, is it? That is relevant to Mr. Perry's, the whole thing they planned in jail. He's going to claim you're harassing him. He's going to perjure himself. He's going to suborn perjury. Because that's what Charles does. It's his pattern. It's his habit. RICO Act is something, isn't it, Mr. Perry? It's one of my favorite. I used it to get insurance companies to pay me. When I was running a medical business, insurance companies look for any way they can not pay you. So Mr. David Boyce and Richard Scruggs sued the fuck out of 13 of them. Cigna, Aetna, Blue Cross Blue Shield, a bunch of them. And they got a settlement from Cigna in the amount of $500 million. Aetna, $499 million. And they used the mail fraud in the RICO Act. You send in a fax letter of prior approval through that's wire. That's a wired letter that says I'm gonna promise to pay. Then they don't pay. So they ended up they did have to pay. I called those attorneys and I spoke to Mr. Scruggs, and he said, "Here, use my brief," and I did, and it helped me get paid a lot, actually. So, you know what else happened to me? When I'm in Vegas, I talked to a guy that's supposedly affiliated with a mafia. They don't do women and kids dirty in Vegas. They're men's men. They don't pick on women and children to feel tough guy. And I'm like, I have a problem with, this guy was a friend of mine. And I said, I have a problem with one of my patients. He's a kid. He's 6. He's got very bad lymphedema, and I have a pump that his insurance company won't pay for it. And I need to know if your organization has a charity that I can apply to. That's all I asked him. There is official charitable organizations a lot of these guys have set up, and all you have to do is fill out an application. So I'm asking him, does he have one? And he hemmed around, and I'll call you back. His insurance company, we had appealed it, and they finally said, stop appealing it. Our answer's final. We're not going to pay. That's it. So I'm going now to this guy who is, and he guess what happens? Next minute I know I got a check from the insurance company. Full amount due. Just like that. In about 30 days, they take care of women and they take care of kids. Because they're men's men, and they don't beat down women and children to feel tough guy. Like you. You're pathetic. And everybody's sick and tired of your lies. And you're insulting their intelligence, and your corruption, and your collusion, and you're picking on ladies that just don't like you, and the betrayal to your own family, Jacqueline, Jordan, and Matthew. And you owe them your time, and you owe them the truth. And you made a commitment to Jacqueline. And I told you to fuck off me. I'm not interested. And everybody's sick and tired of you dragging this on and on, your little make-believe world. You killed a cop. And that did something in other cops, Mr. Perry. And you can live with your choices. Right? And we're certain that you can live with your choices. Our guys made it very clear. No one's going to help you until you get the fuck out of my life. And it's about not to matter anymore. And we're done.
Leave me alone. I don't want proof of this. Please leave me alone.
Hey men, leave women the fuck alone. When they're in public, when they're doing anything, you don't have the right to their attention. You don't have the right to step into their personal space. You don't have the right to them. Especially if they're making it very clear they don't want to be talked to. But even when they're not, unless a woman is giving you enthusiastic and continuous body language and signs that she wants to talk to your ugly dumb ass, then leave her the fuck alone. Find a date a different way. Okay? It's not clever. It's not cool. It's not cute. It's garbage. It's absolute garbage behavior, and you're a garbage person if you do it. I don't care if it's in public. It doesn't fucking matter. You don't have the right to her, and you need to leave her alone. And this is Bacon.
That's